Hello humans who are watching this video. Today I am bringing you a video that is probably just outing myself as a serial book buyer who doesn't read the books as soon as she buys them. But what's new? I mean, who actually does that? I mean, do you do that? I mean, I do sometimes buy a book and immediately read it. For example, Bridge of Souls, Victoria Schwab. Bought it, read it the next day. Loved it. So good, because I really fancied reading that book. Sometimes I buy lots of books in one purchase and I just don't pick them up yet. Sometimes I want to read books in certain seasons, which is the case for one of these books. I'm just gonna dive on in and go through the books. Basically, this is a list of books I bought, and when I bought them I was really excited to read them, or someone bought them for me. I think one or two of them might be gifted, and I was really hyped to read them, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna read these right away, and I'm still really hyped to read them, every single one of these, apart from one. But I just haven't picked them up yet. So essentially, yes, this is an extended, like, these are on my TBR, but also the point of this video is I was really excited to read these, and then I didn't. Hopefully a relatable feeling. Please don't leave me here alone. Also, I am leaning against my bookshelf, and I'm slightly worried about this because it's more supportive of my back, but the bookshelf's not attached to the wall, and I'm pretty sure it's not going to fall, but I mean, if it does, it's going to be captured on camera, so. Okay, this one is first. You've probably heard me mention this one before. I got this last year, I think, and it was sent to me by the publishers. This is A Declaration of the Rights of Magicians by H.G. Parry. H.G. Parry is the author of one of my favourite books, The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep. It's a book about books. I adore it. This is not a book about books, but it's a book about magicians and revolutions, and it sounds really good, and I was so hyped when I knew that she had another book coming out so soon after Uriah Heep. And then I don't know, put it on my shelf and completely ignored that it existed. The top tagline of this says, a sweeping tale of revolution and wonder in a world not quite like our own. It's set in France. I don't often come across books set in France. I say as the Mime Order. The Mask Falling, not the Mime Order. The Mask Falling is behind me, which is set in France. Okay. Ignore me, clearly I'm inaccurate, but also it's very floppy for a bigger book. I do want to pick this up. Maybe I should just add this to my TBR trolley. I'm kind of testing a TBR trolley in the sense of, like, I'm just putting the books I really fancy reading on it so that when I come to pick I can just pick one out, but also it's okay if I don't want to pick those up. It's kind of a TBR, isn't it? I'll just forget that. Anyway, yeah, Magicians, France, Revolution, some other time period than our own, I think. I don't know. There's darkness and chaos, apparently. I should just read it, really, shouldn't I? But I haven't. Then there's Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. I don't think I've talked about this on my channel other than probably hauling it when I got it. I actually went as far as to order and click and collect this one in store when it came out. So I really did want to read this one. Like, I ordered it in advance and collected it very eagerly and haven't read it yet. What's new? What's new? This is actually relatively short, and I think this one will be quite poignant for me. It's about a woman who's in her early 30s, I think, and all her friends are in relationships and getting married and stuff, and she is not doing any of those things and is working through life at her own pace. Okay, I take it back. I think she's in her 30s, because it says her 30s have not been as liberating and uncomplicated experience as she was sold. Everywhere she turns, she's reminded of time passing and opportunities dwindling, friendships are fading, ex-boyfriends are moving on, everyone's moving to the suburbs. I feel like this will be poignant for me because whilst I'm not at quite that point in my life, I am at a point in my life where a lot of my friends are getting married, having babies, and I'm just like, I bought a flat! So I feel like this will be quite a good one to read. I will get to this. I will get to it. So that's Ghosts by Dolly Alderton. Then it feels fitting to move on to this one because the author of this book blurbed that book with a review on the blurb, and that is Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. This one has been on my TBR for the longest time. I was so excited when I saw this book because I just thought it sounded brilliant. I would say that this is somewhere described as a modern day Bridget Jones or something, and I have been told that is not correct, and that kind of missells it slightly, so I'm not expecting that from it. But I am expecting a real sort of contemporary that just feels like it actually explores genuine issues rather than staying too much in the world of unrealistic fiction. We love a bit of unrealistic fiction, but sometimes we want a bit of realistic fiction when we apparently are sick of escaping. Is that a thing? I don't think so. But I do like reading contemporaries that aren't always completely unachievable. But in this one, the character Queenie Jenkins is described as lots of different things within the blurb. So she's a journalist, catastrophist, can't speak today. Expressive, aggressive, funny, dramatic, loved, lonely, enough. Apparently it's a dark comedy with a subversive take on life, love, race and family. I do really want to get to this one, and this one is actually one that I deliberately haven't picked up yet because I meant to read this last summer, so long ago. Now I'm waiting for this summer. I don't know why, but this feels like the kind of book that I want to read in a day or two whilst I'm sat. If it's that kind of book, I don't know whether it's going to be a book that I will want to have breaks in between. I have no idea, but I want to be sat on the swinging bench in my garden back at home in the sun in the middle of July reading this book. That is just the dream I have. It might be because it's a bright yellow cover. It might be swaying me, but I feel like this one has to be a summer read for me. So that's what it's going to be. Yeah. I've not read Crooked Kingdom. Yeah, I have been spoiled for Crooked Kingdom as well. Don't put any spoilers in the comments for anyone that hasn't read this book. I read Six of Crows a long time ago, and then I was very, very, very excited because I worked at WATERSTONES at the time Crooked Kingdom came out, and I remember the books coming into stock, and I remember buying one and being like, oh my god, yes, I'm so excited for this, I'm so excited. And here we are. But I've got this lovely WATERSTONES edition now that looks stunning on my shelves. I have had this book spoiled for me, so I feel like that partially takes away my want to read it as much. I'm sure there's a lot more than just the one spoiler I heard, which I'm trying to forget, and it's slowly happening. But I don't really know why I've not read this yet, because there's so much hype around this whole world at the moment with the Shadow and Bone TV series, and yet I'm still like, well, I have not read you, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I think it's because as well when I was reading Six of Crows I wasn't like completely blown away. I thought it was good and I thought it was fun and engaging, but it did not blow my mind, so I don't really feel like I'm still on that hype train. It's been so long. It's been so long. Like 4 years? When did this come out? 2016. Okay, this next one I really don't want to admit that I've not read, but also I don't know why I've not read it because every time I pick it up I'm like, I really want to read that. This is The Dark Vault by Victoria Schwab. This contains the Archives and the Unbound books, so this is 2 books in one. This is one of Victoria Schwab's earlier published book series, and it was republished a few years ago, or recovered, bound together. This seems to be a book about books, because the blurb says, imagine a place where the dead rest on the shelves like books. Each body has a story to tell, a life seen in pictures only librarians can read. The dead are cool histories, and the vast realm in which they rest is the archive. Why have I not read this yet? I love Victoria Schwab's writing. I think it's because when I read The Near Witch, which was her first published book, I was not blown away and I found that really slow, which I hate to admit because I adore her writing so much. But you can so see the growth that she's gone through as a writer, and I am wary that, is this one going to be slow like The Near Witch or not? I don't know. But I might put this one and this one, these two, on my fake TBR trolley thing, because I do want to get to them both. Then we've got Cersei by Madeline Miller. My story with this one is, I read Song of Achilles years ago. Everyone was telling me I was going to cry and it was going to break my heart, and I think because everyone was telling me that, I was expecting it too much and it didn't. So I was a bit disappointed because I expected one reaction that I just didn't get from it. So I wasn't bothered when Cersei came out, and then suddenly last year, just before my birthday, I was insanely bothered and I really, really wanted to read it. I was like, yes, okay, I need to see what this is like. Everyone says it's amazing, everybody. It's stunning, the hardback is absolutely beautiful. Every time I see this in a bookshop, I always stop and look at it, so I'm like, I'm gonna put it on my wish list. Someone very kindly bought it for me for my birthday, and I was like, I'm gonna read it so soon, I can't wait. And yet every time I film a video where I'm like, book's still on my TBR, it's this one. This one. And I think that's because of the Song of Achilles and how I don't know if this is going to be one that lives up to the hype or not for me, and maybe Madeline Miller's writing just isn't for me and it's too slow paced for me. But I don't know, Cersei sounds like a cool character. She's been banished by Zeus from the gods and is kind of just cracking on with her own witchcrafty life and meeting some peeps along the way. That's the worst description of this book you've probably ever heard. God, can you hear the wind? I'm so sorry if you can hear the wind. It is like blowing a storm out there. Anyway, very excited to read this one when I do. And again, I kind of want to put this on the little cart. I nearly read this one this month. I gave it to my Patreons for our book club pick. Like, I gave them 4 choices and this was one of them. And this was the second runner-up. Well, the runner-up. It was the runner-up pick. Just missed out. Just. This last one I thought I'd just put on because I don't think I've probably ever talked about this book or this author on this channel. It's Lora Bird by Cecilia Ahern. Now, this came out when I was working at WATERSTONES as well, and I was very excited because I didn't think I realised Cecilia Ahern was releasing another book. I used to be obsessed with Cecilia Ahern by the age of about 15, maybe. I really enjoyed her books. I really did. Where Rainbows End, which I think is now called Love, Rosie. Yeah, a great film. That book was my favourite. I loved it. I loved it so much. And then as I got a bit older, I was just kind of done with her storylines, but I did enjoy the way that she involved magic in a contemporary setting sometimes. But the older I got, I was kind of not as bothered, and now I'm like 0% bothered. It's not the kind of books I read anymore. But when I got this, I was so hyped that she had a new book. It was out in hardback. I was gonna get it really quickly with my staff discount and read it straight away. I don't even know what this is about. I assume it's some kind of slow burn epic romance that'll last over years and years and location to location, because that's normally what Cecilia Ahern does. I mean, it's a very pretty book, but it's just not one I ever picked up. I honestly doubt I'm ever going to pick this one up either, so maybe I'll unhaul it at some point, but there's room for it on my shelves for now. Okay, those are all the books that I'm shaming myself by telling you that I was really, really excited when I bought them and just haven't picked them up yet. Please tell me some books in the comments that you've done this with, because I feel like there's so many more I could have picked out on my shelves, but I just thought we'd be here forever. I think out of all the ones I've shown you, these three are the ones I'm most excited to read, and Queenie, but I'm not putting that quite on the TBR yet because I definitely want to wait till summer to read that. I don't know why, again, but I'm clearly in a bit of a magic-y mood at the moment maybe, so I'll try and get to those soon. I really will. I really will. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up. Comment down below to make me feel a little bit better about books that you bought and didn't read straight away. Oops. And you can subscribe to see more of my face on your feed. All of my links and socials and stuff are down below as well, including a link to my Patreon where we do live shows, book clubs. There's an exclusive podcasty audio recording thing from me once a month that is completely positivity themed. It's all very, very exciting. There's professional social media advice. It's a great time. There's links down below if you do want to take a look at that. But thank you guys so much for watching. Keep smiling and stay positive and read the books on your TBR.